The untold truth of how a new pope is chosen behind the grandeur of the Vatican. Beyond the marble columns, the gilded halls, and centuries of unbroken tradition, lies a ritual so secretive, so meticulously guarded, that even most high-ranking cardinals only experience it once in their lifetimes. When a pope dies, or in rare cases, resigns, the world watches. But inside the Vatican's sacred walls, an ancient process begins, one that dates back to the Middle Ages, shaped by power struggles, divine intervention, and whispers of conspiracy. The last Papal Conclave in 2013 elected Pope Francis in just 5 ballots over 2 days, but history has seen far longer elections, the longest lasting nearly 3 years from 1268 to 1271 before Gregory X was finally chosen. This is the untold truth of how a new pope is really chosen. It's called the conclave, from the Latin conclave, meaning with a key. And that's literal. The cardinals, all under 80, the Church's electoral princes, are sealed inside the Sistine Chapel. No phones. No internet. No whispers to the outside world. Swiss guards stand watch. The doors are wax sealed. Windows are blacked out. Even meals are passed through a guarded turnstile to prevent coded messages, a precaution dating back centuries when messages were allegedly hidden in pies and chickens. Their mission? To elect a man who will wield immense spiritual and political power, leading 1.3 billion Catholics, influencing global policy, and shaping the future of the Church. The voting cardinals, numbering 133 for the 2025 conclave, must reach a 2/3 majority, at least 89 votes, to elect the new pontiff. But make no mistake, this isn't just about faith. It's about survival. The last pope to resign before Benedict XVI was Celestine V in 1294, and legend says he was murdered by his successor. Even today, the newly elected pope is led to the Room of Tears, a small chamber beside the Sistine Chapel where he dons the white papal vestments for the first time, a moment of profound emotional weight. Before voting starts, the cardinals hold general congregations, closed-door meetings where they debate the Church's future. On the surface, it's spiritual discernment. But beneath? A high-stakes Game of Thrones. Factions emerge. Some want a radical reformer, a pope who'll crack down on corruption. Others push for a traditionalist, one who'll resist change. Some lobby for an Italian pontiff, reclaiming the Vatican's old dominance. Others argue for a leader from the global south, Africa or Latin America, where the Church is growing fastest. In 2025, contenders included Cardinal Pietro Parolin of Italy and Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines, representing these competing visions. And then, there are the kingmakers. Senior cardinals who've spent decades building alliances. They know who owes favors, who has scandals to hide, who might be persuadable. History whispers of conclaves swayed by bribes, like in 1492 when Rodrigo Borgia became Pope Alexander VI through what contemporaries called generous gifts to fellow cardinals. When voting begins, it's deceptively simple. Each cardinal writes a name on a rectangular ballot bearing the Latin words Eligo in Summum Pontificem, I elect as Supreme Pontiff. One by one, they march to the altar, place their folded ballot on a plate, and drop it into a golden chalice while swearing an oath. I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge. But here's where it gets fascinating. The votes are counted aloud, then burned. If no pope is elected, the smoke is black, a mixture of potassium perchlorate, anthracene and sulfur creates the dark plume. White smoke, from potassium chlorate and lactose, signals success. The world watches this ancient communication system, first used in the 20th century, with bated breath. The pressure is brutal. In 2005, Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, the future Benedict XVI, was elected in just 4 ballots. But history shows darker moments. During the 1268 conclave, frustrated locals removed the roof and rationed cardinals to bread and water until they chose Gregory X after 34 months. Then, it happens. One cardinal crosses the 2/3 threshold. The senior cardinal leans in and asks the fateful question, do you accept your election as Supreme Pontiff? If he says yes, history shifts in an instant. He chooses a new name, often a signal to the world. John Paul II honored his reformist predecessor. Francis invoked the humble Saint Francis of Assisi. In 2025, American Cardinal Robert Prevost shocked the world by becoming Pope Leo XIV, the first U.S. pontiff in church history. Then, white smoke. The bells of St. Peter's crash like thunder. The crowd erupts. Over 250,000 people packed St. Peter's Square for this moment in 2025, waving flags from Brazil to South Korea. And moments later, the new Pope steps onto the balcony, the most powerful spiritual leader on earth. But behind the sacred ritual lies a complicated truth. The Vatican denies any modern corruption, but lobbying is undeniable. New York's Cardinal Dolan once quipped that campaigning is not forbidden, just frowned upon. National interests, doctrinal battles, and global influence all swirl beneath Michelangelo's frescoes. To the faithful, the conclave is guided by the Holy Spirit. To historians, it's a masterpiece of theater and strategy, where tradition collides with ambition, and faith meets realpolitik. The next time you see white smoke rise over Rome, remember, centuries of secrets, sacred oaths, and unseen battles led to that moment. This is the untold truth of how a new pope is chosen. Like and subscribe to this channel for more untold truths.